All right, so let's talk about some updates to what's going on. So in my last video, I talked about how Trump was going to make a speech about some things alluding to possibly the war and Venezuela and just other things. And what's crazy about that is that he didn't necessarily talk about those things, but if you saw the speech, he talked about what he accomplished over the past year. And I find that interesting because what he essentially did was bait a lot of people, including the media, to have primetime coverage. And he talked about all these things on live TV. People were covering it, left and right media, conservative, liberal, and they were forced to just show all of it, thinking that there's going to be something else happening with Venezuela or possibly other topics with regards to everything that's building up. And so today, what I want to talk about is not that speech and just what he's said, because you can go look that up, and there's a lot of good things he said there. It's basically a summary of what he's accomplished to undo all of the Biden stuff and everything that happened over that period. But right now, what's interesting and pressing is that the Epstein files are to, by law, be released today. And so the deadline is December 19th. And part of the Epstein Files Transparency Act is that it is law for the Attorney General to release all these files. And so we'll see what happens by the end of today. At the time of this video, I haven't seen, nor will I go through all the stuff in detail, but it's interesting because what's happening right now is psychology. And just like with the Streisand effect, when you allow people to say, hey, there's nothing here, which was a position that the FBI and Trump and many people took early on, it allowed people left and right. And if you look at comments all over, Twitter and TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all of these platforms have comment sections that meme basically the idea that these Epstein files are being hidden and there's all this stuff to cover it up and all of that. And even Trump was a scapegoat, many others, in saying that he was part of it. And so this is all part of the psychological effect, in my opinion, to allow people to gather interest to then release these things. And people are going to say all kinds of stuff. If you look at the news and many things that are being released and other perspectives, they're going to tie two and two together and think all kinds of conclusions. And remember, all of this is not a hoax. If you look at QDrop 3386, which combines 3385, I'll begin with that one, but it said, you didn't think the Epstein investigation began a few months ago, did you? It was all under the direction and oversight of Attorney General Jeff Sessions. Expect a lot more to become public, unsealing. And then the rest of that 3386 says Barr, meaning Bill Barr, not recused from E pending cases, Epstein pending cases, only passed. D, fight coming, liberal outrage coming. Pelosi's daughter inserted, counter made simple. And remember, the stakes are high. QDrop 3131 says, will the rich and powerful influence the court to prevent the unsealing? Follow the attorney who took the pic, who was located behind the camera. Sex trafficking is real. And then moving down to post 2478, let the unsealing begin. Let the D-class begin. Let the world witness the truth. We the people, justice under the law. And then 3041, the unsealing of the first several indictments will bring about unity and change that we can believe in, returning power to the people, returning the rule of law to our land. We stand together. We stand together as patriots. And so the unsealing, the first of which is happening this week, as in today, we're going to see how we're going to look through all of those documents. And then, of course, there's some news saying that the Trump administration and many people, the officials, are only going to release some files at a time. And so I'm just bringing this to your attention to say that the bigger picture is that there is evil going on in the world. We've been praying for transparency, but we're praying for the destruction of this evil to get rid of it such that righteousness, godliness can take over and allow things to restore order to some degree. And of course, that's not going to happen fully until Christ comes back. But we still need to fight. We still need to be able to understand the news and correctly discern what's going on so that we can be in that spiritual warrior state. And also, if we're in positions of power, we can take action. And so all of this was conspiracy 10 years ago, but now it's real. It's happening right now. And earlier this year, people were saying things, saying, oh, nothing's there. But of course, what we are seeing right now is one of the biggest D-classes of our lifetime. There was blackmail, there was trafficking, there were so many things that was going on, whether it's willing or whether it's by force. A lot of people are through the system, and we're going to see transparency, we're going to see justice, being served. But this is a beginning, it's a process, and it's being done for a strategic reason. So if you're hearing a lot of news and conspiracy, as well as, Trump reacting this way, other people reacting that way, remember, all of this is being done because there are other moving pieces behind the scene, especially in the Justice Department, meaning that if there's sealed indictments, if there's sealed things, if there's an ongoing investigation, you can't just let everything out and tell people the truth. You may have to play these sort of mind games or psychological games to make sure that you are protecting witnesses or the process of it going through the justice system. Whatever it is, it's being done for a reason. So be encouraged, guys. Let me know what you guys think. I would love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. What's going to come out of it? There are some other crazy conspiracies or other things to note as we move through this process. So love you guys. Talk to you guys very soon.